Question number 3, the Honourable Gillian Genter.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker.
Number two.
My question is to the Minister of Finance. What advice, if any, did she receive on the potential impact on the cost of moving freight by rail between the North Island and the South Island before announcing the cancellation of the order for rail-enabled ferries?
The Honourable Nicola Willis.
Mr. Speaker, the question reflects some misunderstanding on the part of the member. Ministers received several pieces of advice about various aspects of Project IREX before Cabinet decided in December last year to not meet KiwiRail's request for further funding for the project. The advice we received has been proactively released and is on the Treasury website. The advice focuses on the efficiency of the transport system as opposed to the specific cost of freight. The Minister's assessment was that Project IREX was inherently flawed, with large cost blowouts for landside infrastructure, and the project needed to be reset.
Did she receive any advice on the fiscal impacts of adding thousands of trucks to the road as a result of not having rail-enabled ferries, as has been indicated by the Managing Director of Main Freight, will be the result of not having rail-enabled ferries, before announcing the cancellation of the order?
Well, Mr. Speaker, that question is littered with assumptions, many of which are completely wrong.
Mr. Speaker, could the Minister please tell me which of the statements that were made in the previous question are erroneous assumptions, as she claims?
Well, I'll start with the assumption that there would be more freight going on trucks. That's a big assumption.
Mr. Speaker.
Quiet.
Does the Minister therefore think that Managing Director of Main Freight, our largest freight operator in the country, is wrong or is lying when he says that his company will put at least 5,000 additional truck and trailer movements on the roads as a result of the loss of rail-enabled ferries?
Well, I've had many conversations with a range of people involved in getting freight across the country, including Don Braid from Main Freight. And what he would reflect to the member is that decisions have not been made by Cabinet on what kind of ferries there will be or what the arrangements for freight would be. So it's very premature to be making those sorts of assessments.
Point of order, the Honourable Chamber.
Sir, I want us to return to a point I made yesterday, Speaker's Rulings 192. We've got further evidence of these wild and indiscriminate claims being attributed without decent evidence that the said person actually made those statements in that context. That's
worthwhile.
Point of order.
Oh, are you a point of order or are you speaking to a point of order?
Well, speaking to the point of order, would I be able to table the quote from Don Braid where he literally says what I just said in response to the Minister's accusation that it's an unfounded misquote?
You can seek leave for that after I've dealt with the point of order. Firstly, members should be aware of those two provisions that were discussed yesterday in relation to questions. Those provisions also apply to answers. Do you now wish to seek leave of the House?
Point of order. I seek leave of the House to table an article which quotes Don Braid saying that there will be 5,000 additional truck and trailer movements, at least from his company, if there is not rail-enabled ferries.
And where was the article published?
On Radio New Zealand.
I think that's publicly available. So,
point of order, Mr. Speaker. In the Minister's last few responses, she said no decisions have been taken. However, my question was, had she asked for or received advice on these issues before taking a decision that led to the announcement of the cancellation of the ferries?
Yeah. The point is that you've asked a question in two different ways. I'd ask the member to think carefully about the way the question is structured, because the way the Minister has answered is appropriate to the way the question was asked. You're welcome to look at Hansard's to work out what I'm saying. But please, if you've got another supplementary, ask it now.
Supplementary. Does she think government should review all the evidence about the costs, benefits, and impacts of infrastructure decisions before cancelling or announcing projects.
Mr. Speaker, when an infrastructure project changes from being an investment in ships that is expected to cost less than $1 billion into an investment that is expected to cost at least $3 billion, 80% of which are costs for portside infrastructure and not ships, when a project has consistent blowouts and when a previous government chooses to ignore those, then yes, when a new government is elected, it needs to take action.
Supplementary. Why has she considered that $3 billion for this IREX project, which had a business case and clear strategic value of retaining a rail connection between the North and South Island, was unaffordable, but yesterday has committed to at least $3 billion to add less than 2 kilometres of one car lane in each direction in central Wellington before an investment case has even begun?
Well, Mr. Speaker, if the member for Rongotai wishes to tell the people of Miramar that they don't deserve a duplicate Mount Vic tunnel, that they should sit in traffic, that their buses should go slowly, that they should have an adequate ability to cycle through the tunnel to get to work, then she is welcome to go and campaign on her commitment to get rid of the second tunnel. Good luck.